What are you doing, Kman? I'm toning up my legs, I'm getting fat off my outer thighs, I'm lifting my bottom. That's what I'm doing. Hey, welcome back, fitness professionals and committed exercise enthusiasts. What I'm going to talk about today is spot reducing exercises. You see them everywhere in all the magazines. You know, I used to do a lot of them back in the early years for the abs, get the six pack, and the ladies used to do the little side leg raises and the donkey kicks and the dog lifts, the dog lifts off the side. So let's have a look at this from a scientific point of view using our 5-step approach. Step number 1, what is the goal of the exercise? Now most people, not everybody, most people do this because they want to lose fat off their bottom, tone up their thighs, get a little six-pack, whatever it might be. So the main goal is to tone up. Well, what technically is tone up? Tone up would be, a muscle is never untoned unless you cut the nerve. A muscle is a live tissue, so it's never untoned, it's always toned. It depends whether you've got a little bit of a layer of fat over, the little doona cover. So the more fat you have over the muscle, the more untoned it actually looks. So basically tone means get rid of the fat and making sure you have enough muscle there to make sure it looks toned. So number 1, what is the goal? Number 2, is it safe? Well, most of these exercises, unless someone trips over you while you're doing them, you might get a bit of carpet burn.
This is a general warning announcement.
As you can tell, I'm at the Los Angeles airport and I thought I might tone up my body before I hop on the plane. So you're going to get these little messages coming through. So you know that this is live broadcasting of Kman evaluating exercise safety and effectiveness. So let's continue on while Mary continues sharing with the world the next flight's coming up. So safety is not dangerous unless you do a bad technique because you're vigorously trying to get rid of the fat. Is that my flight? I don't know, that could be my flight.
TSA checkpoints to gate 1,
TSA checkpoints.
boarding.
Safety is very important in America. So unless you might get a bit of carpet burn, you might get a lower back if you're doing with poor technique, but overall it's a safe exercise. So let's move on to, first of all we looked at the goal, which is losing weight, looking toned, lifting, shaping, all that stuff. We'll look a bit more in detail at that one too. Is it safe? Most of these exercises are pretty safe because you're laying down on the ground. Unless there's an earthquake, you're pretty safe. Let's have a look at function. So function, let's have a look at what parts in life do you do this? Unless it's one of those real extraordinary positions you get when the lights go dim at night with your special friend, it's not really a functional exercise. Side leg raises, unless you walk around like this. Hello, I'm walking around. So it's not really functional. Most of these exercises are not very functional in any way, shape or form. First of all, most of them are done on the ground. So therefore, function is more about applied to the upright position, yet we're exercising on the ground. So you don't really need a lot of stability and it's not very, very functional whatsoever. So function, a very low score, on a low score. So next one is the benefit. So there's 2 parts of benefit. Number 1, does it lose the fat? Number 2, does it tone up the muscle? Let's start with the fat. So how many calories do you think I'm burning off? See the fat flying off my leg? How many calories do you burn off during this exercise? Your heart rate doesn't get up because to burn energy you need to use the aerobic system, and the aerobic system ideally you want to get your heart rate up to around 70% of your maximal heart rate. You're down here laying in the ground, you're not going to get your heart rate up, you're not going to be burning off much energy because it's a low energy required type of activity. It utilises the lactate energy system, not the aerobic energy system. The lactate system is that you use muscle in an isolated form for up around about 2 minutes. It builds up that byproduct called lactic acid that pushes up against the nerve endings and gives you that little pain sensation, which most people misinterpret as exploding fat cells or building muscle. So from a fat burning point of view, it doesn't burn fat. And even if it did, well, it doesn't. So why would I say even if it did? But you can't spot reduce anyway. What if I do one leg and not the other leg? Do I get a thin leg and a fat leg? I don't have a choice where I lose fat. If you don't have a choice where you put on fat, so if I eat a donut, I can't decide where it goes. So if I can't decide where it goes, how can I decide where it goes off? So fat is stored all over the body and it comes off all over the body. As I've used in a previous analogy, fat is like a pool. You have a deep end and a shallow end. If I want to get fat out of the deep end and I get a bucket, do I go down the deep end and pour water out of the deep end, thinking it's just going to come out of the deep end? No, it comes out of both ends. You don't have any choice. For gentlemen watching, this is the deep end. The ladies, this is the deep end. So if you lose it here, you're going to lose it, unfortunately, everywhere else, which you may not want to lose it. So you're going to lose it all over your body. So from a fat point of view, spot reduction doesn't burn fat, doesn't use the cardiovascular system, doesn't burn off much energy whatsoever, and it doesn't spot reduce, means it doesn't come off while you're working. Look at from a muscle toning point of view, a muscle building point of view. Where's the resistance? You know, if I'm doing a side leg raise, how can I tone up? First of all, look at it from an analytical point of view and an anatomical point of view. This is what we call hip abduction. So that utilises a muscle called your tensor fasciae lata and your gluteus medius. Now the tensor fasciae lata has a muscle belly around about the size of my thumb, and the gluteus medius is really tight in there. So even if those muscles did build up, no one would notice. You don't walk down the street and go, hey, check out her tensor fasciae lata. Yeah, but check out the gluteus medius. You can't see the muscles because they're so small and they're lifting your leg repetitively. That's why they tire. They go into the lactate energy system, build up lactic acid, pushing up against the nerve endings, gives you that pain sensation that gives you the illusion that you're actually toning up the muscles. So if you look at those muscles, they're only small. When you look at your leg muscles, which gives you the shape, it's the quadriceps, it's the hamstrings, it's the glutes. And how do you train those muscles? You do squats, you do lunges, but people don't like to do them. Why? Because they're hard. But that's why they work, because they're hard. If you want hard bits, do the hard exercises. And Mary's talking to me again, so stay tuned. So if you look at it from a benefit point of view, fat loss, very low. Muscle building or muscle toning, non-existent because there's no overload. You know, what are you lifting? Air molecules? If I'm in there, I'm in the gym and I'm doing this. You say, what are you doing? I say, I'm toning up the back of my arm with no weight. You say, that's silly. You don't have to put a weight. You've got to put a progressive overload. If you want to tone up the arm, you've got to put a load on. Well, laying on the ground, doing crunches, side leg raises, inner thigh, outer thigh, butt cheek lifts, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, the heaviest thing you're lifting is actually the weight of your shoe. You know, there must be heavy air molecules. Maybe you go where the air is more dense, it might provide a little bit more resistance, but you actually get more muscular work getting down on the ground
Please refrain from smoking while
and getting back off the
walking
ground.
throughout
Because
the
when I
building.
get down on the ground and off the ground, I'm actually using all those big muscles that determine the overall shape of my legs, the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes. And even when I do squats and lunges, I'm also working your abductors and your adductors, as well as all the muscles that balance and stabilise the joints. So from a benefit point of view, very low. Overall, is there a better exercise? Got a clue? What do you think I've been doing? Yes, there's a far better exercises. If I do squats, if I wanted to do a better exercise for fat loss, what do you think would be a better exercise? Laying on the ground to get rid of the fat, or hopping on a treadmill, using all my muscles in the body, using the aerobic energy system, expending lots of energy, including fat energy and carbohydrate energy, getting me fitter and turning my body into a fat burning machine. So is there better exercise yet? Get off the ground, stand up and use the whole body in a full functional way on the treadmill or walking or bike riding or any overall body cardiovascular exercise that you enjoy and put a lot of effort into it. So from a fat loss point of view, there are far better exercises. This I'd give a rating of 0 out of 10. Running would be up to close to 10 out of 10, and you can work out the more your body is using the exercise, the more the effect on your cardiovascular energy system, the more fat you burn off, and most of all, the fitter you get. From a muscular point of view, is there a better exercise? I want to tone up the muscles, or better still, make the muscles stronger. Of course, doing things such as squats and lunges and those hard exercises because they make your body hard. So yeah, those easy exercises don't give you anywhere near the results. So spend your time doing the full body hard cardiovascular exercises, do full
Mesdames,
body
Messieurs, votre attention, s'il vous
hard
plaît.
strength
Ceci
training
est le dernier
exercises
appel, le dernier
and stop
appel pour le volet
wasting your
France,
time.
numéro 69, à
And I'll
destination
highlight
des
that again.
passagers de Gaulle.
Wasting
Tous
your
les
time,
passagers sont prêts,
getting
c'est
carpet
présenté à la
burn,
porte
lifting,
150
shifting air
pour
molecules
l'embarquement
around the room
immédiat. Merci.
and getting no fat loss. And all you're doing is just moving what you've already got. And the only you're working the small muscles, not the big ones that make the big changes to your body shape, the big changes to your strength, the big changes to your cardiovascular fitness, the big changes to the energy expenditure, and the big changes to your fat loss. So if you want big results, do big cardiovascular exercises, do big strength training exercises, and stop wasting your time on what I call the little fluffy exercises. You know those fluffy ones? You know, toning up the back of the arm, toning up my outer thigh, toning up my inner thigh, toning up my glutes. You'd be there all day, toning up my inner arm, and toning up my outer arm, and toning up my top arm, and toning up my back arm, and toning up my front, and toning up my side, and toning up my back, and toning up my this one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and my chin, my neck. God, you can't have fat neck, can you? Hey, neck fat. I'll get rid of a fat neck. Oh, got a little bit of a fat chin. Oh, a bit fat on the side. Get rid of that. Come on. You're not that silly. Don't be silly. Train smart. Train effective. Train for results. Here we go. Train big. Have fun with a smile. And the great news is you do those exercises in 1/10 of the time and you get 10 times the results. I'm going to do some toning up exercises now. Yes, yes. I'm going for a power walk up the airport. Bye.